Show.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the 580 Show, episode 156. Myself, Frawley, Dante. What's up, boys?
What's
Bird
up?
gang, what's up?
So if you listen to last week, we were super pinched for time. Dante and I just found a random convention center corner and just recorded a quick update. So I figure, maybe we'll talk about some other stuff, but we kind of have all sides of OSG covered. So I thought it'd be a good discussion between all of us because I competed. Dante was there as a spectator, and Frawley, you were there as a spectator one day and watched the live stream. So
Yes, sir.
kind of can talk about it, all our experiences, what we thought went really well, what you guys thought could be improved, everything like that. I'll just start off by saying, like, it was my favorite show I think I ever did. It was just a lot different than what even like nationals or anything like that I'm used to. Just I think if I start with just like production was like really cool. We all saw it right in person. I don't know how well it was translated onto the live stream with lighting and
More noticeable in person for sure.
yeah,
But nonetheless, you could still tell there was production value there for sure.
for sure. I mean, like, the lighting was really cool. They had an opening ceremony for the first time ever in OSG history where all the countries walked out. Like you were announced as a country and walked out with all the people from your country.
Cool.
And the main thing I thought was awesome was the jumbotron or jumbo
Yes.
screen.
Yep.
That was a really, really cool touch. I thought they did awesome with that. So I don't know. What did you guys kind of think about the production of it?
I
Yeah,
think, well, first off, I just want to interrupt you and say that I think you think this is your favorite show because you haven't done your own shows yet. Just saying.
Well, I never,
But
you can't say yet because I'll never do it. But
yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Other than that, I think it went well. Like being a spectator for all days, the production never really seemed to like dismay. Like everything was consistent.
Yeah.
I felt considering the amount of athletes time wise, it ran fairly well. Sometimes it slowed down a little bit in some spots and sped up in others, but you're going to get that with all the athletes.
The lighting and the backdrop and all the big screen, all that. I mean, that was top notch. Like I think pretty much everybody can agree with that. Creating the arena feel of the Coliseum, right? Like of the convention center. It was, I mean, they nailed that part, right? No doubt about it. Best production I've ever seen. Sorry, Josh, but it was awesome.
No,
I mean, it genuinely was like, and it should be at that level, right? Like it's
sure.
worlds for weight class masters. It should be like that. So
for sure. And I mean, I will say, just to piggyback off what Dante was saying, like, the days are super long when you're an athlete. That was one thing. Like, even like Lynn said that when he was on our pod a couple weeks ago. He literally straight up told us, he's like, be ready for long days because there's 400 athletes, like, and
takes a while.
but I will say, like, yeah, they were long days, but man, the volunteer team and the team did an amazing job. They were by no means easy events to switch out, reset. Like, hats off to those people because they are working their ass off.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just do a breakdown. I mean, we'll go event by event, but a 4 implement press medley, a carry medley with a big frame and Denny stones, a 5-bar deadlift, and a medley with, while you're wearing a backpack, and there is 3 implements in the medley. So, I mean, man, hats off to anyone that volunteered because they did an amazing job because that could
be
a nightmare.
And they need to for that show to succeed, right? Like it was very evident that was an important part of the show. So I definitely agree. Like shout out to the volunteers. It was awesome. Great job.
I think I briefly, I don't know if I mentioned it on camera last week or not on the pod, but Mitchell Hooper.
Yeah.
Did I mention it?
Yep.
Like, dude, I can't even emphasize enough how much respect I gained for Mitchell Hooper as a human being last week. Like, if you talk shit on Mitchell Hooper, you are not at OSG last weekend because if you go to official Strongman Games, you can watch the whole live stream. Like I watched back my events actually yesterday, and Mitchell Hooper resets every single implement for his lane for the entire day, for both days, was helping getting backpacks off athletes, making sure athletes were good. There's actually a clip. He gave me a high five before we went and then sprinted over to me before I went on the go ruck because he's like, hey man, just in case I got sweat on your hands, I brought you some extra chalk.
That's cool.
Like it's literally on the live stream. You can see us talking.
You tell him
That's
no,
cool.
thank you.
I punched him in the face because I told him I only take Grip
Yeah.
Mountain, but no, but he like I can just say like he just seemed like there was no gimmicky thing about him. And yeah, he's human. This is still a niche sport, but he is literally the number one person in our sport right now.
Right.
And he's on the floor with every athlete, whether it's a 50 plus athlete, a weight class guy, girl, and everything. He was treating them the same, like it was, he cared. It was just, I can't explain how awesome he was at the show. So
in his YouTube video, he was actually talking about that. He's like, I'm the strongest man here, and all these volunteers are running around. It's like, if I'm not helping anything, I'm doing something wrong. He's like, I'm trying to give back to the sport and everything, and we just need to keep doing that to help it grow. He had a really good monologue about it.
I think he says stuff sometimes and he doesn't mean it to come off the way it sounds, right? Like I'm the strongest one here. Like people misinterpret that, I think.
Well,
Like,
he is,
he just means it very like matter of factly, like
yeah,
I should be helping these people, right?
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
No, just a little sidebar. Just want to give Mitchell Hooper a shout out
For
again,
sure.
because that was freaking awesome.
He's also invited on this podcast at any given time if he wants to.
Yeah, open invite.
True.
So, I mean, I'll say weigh-ins. Like, I'll talk about my experience from an athlete, and then we'll go into like each event, and you guys can say like kind of what you thought about the event too. But just like checking in once the line was rolling, because you got like 400 athletes checking in almost essentially at the same time because everyone's getting there at 10. It was so cool. Like you weigh in, you get like a athlete sheet, and everything is so logistically sound. Like you weigh in, they write your name, weight, then you go to the next station, get your athlete and coach's badge, then you go to this booth and get your shirts, and then you get your professional headshots done, and you're out. And it's just like so cool to see, like, and to have professional headshots. Like you guys have probably seen people posting them this week.
That's cool.
They're awesome. Like it's so cool. So that the check-in experience was cool. The one thing I was super worried about was the warm-up room. Not even just because this warm-up room, I feel like that was one thing that struggled at the venue, is the warm-up room was a little small for how many athletes. But I will say it was like the nicest and kindest and everything warm-up room I've ever been in. And I thought it would be the opposite because it's like you go up in the sport, but I think it was just kind of like because like people have been in the crappy warm-up rooms and they all understand warm-ups could not have went much better for having 400 athletes.
Yeah.
And Lynn even said like, they kind of have a couple people that monitor the warm-up room, and it's like, if it's my class, for example, is next, and then the 50 plus is after that, if they see people like super heavies already warming up, they kind of say, hey, just, chill out for a second. You're not going for a couple hours. Let these guys have their space. And
that's reasonable.
It was just so respectful and kind of like chaotically organized, like a group of 80s, like 20 of them would go over here to this sandbag and just kind of like so casually work in together and help each other and talk and stuff. And it was just like, that was one thing I was super, super worried about.
There's been talk about that too. Like when you get high enough to a high enough level, like everyone knows like what you're there to try to achieve, right? And so like there's just a common understanding among everybody that like, okay, we all kind of know what we're trying to do here, right? Like there's no reason that we can't do this in an organized manner, and that everybody can't get their fair share, right? Like their share.
100%.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that was it. Like, I think it's just most of the people have been there and kind of just set a good example. So it was the easiest warm-up room I've ever been a part of, to be honest. So that was cool. But getting into the events, so event 1 was the press medley, which I mean, I don't know what you guys think of spectators. Gave everyone problems.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
That yoke
no doubt.
was a pro. I mean, I went up to press and I barely even budged it. It felt
Yeah.
so heavy. It was like the weight distribution, I think, of it was a lot different. Obviously, it rocked. If you didn't get to see the anchor yoke, be curious if anyone listens that got the anchor yoke. And how heavy they went in training, because it felt so much heavier than the comp weight set I hit in training.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, did they reduce your weight?
no,
Nope.
we were so that's actually a great point. I forgot about that because they reduced it after the 90s. So my
Okay.
class was the last one to do the weight posted. And then the 90s and 105s all did the same weights.
Okay.
105s did the same as the 90s because I think they were just trying to get people through it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, because
But
I knew the super heavyweight got reduced.
for me, that event couldn't have went better. I had a really good split time on the first 2, so I kind of maximized points there. I'll
Mhm.
say the wagon wheels were super cool that we used from standard submit. The circus dumbbell is what I want to talk about the most. That was the best circus dumbbell I ever felt in my life. Thin handle with fat bells, and it was just
Oh.
so much easier to press than any circus I've ever pressed. Like my 161 flew and it felt pretty effortless.
Mhm.
So yeah, didn't get to touch the block, so can't really talk about that. People
Yeah,
were
a lot
saying
of
it was a
people were
lot
saying that
skinnier.
a lot of people were just saying that it was smaller. And when you got to the end, like your air just was sucked out of you, right? And then you put that big block sitting on your chest. It's
For
already
sure.
hard enough to breathe, and then you're leaning back trying to get under it, and it was really hard. So I think it's a true testament to the people that did finish, right?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
that's a pretty amazing feat. So
For sure. I mean, definitely hate to be negative, but the judging, I saw some really,
yeah, there were
really
some iffy
weak.
calls,
And I mean, I'm
but
not trying to be negative,
you can do it.
it's just you got to point out some stuff that went wrong too. And I'm sure Lynn thinks about that stuff, to
He
improve.
probably knew about it before any of us even talked about it.
Yeah, there were some
You know,
rough calls on the block.
yeah,
There was one dumbbell I
there
saw.
were
It
on the
was like
yoke too.
like
Yeah,
both people had the dumbbell up at the same time, and one got like an instant down, and one had to hold it for 2 seconds, and
yeah.
it like cost her a couple places, I guess. But
Sure.
I mean, I guess that's the deal you make with the devil. When you have 400 athletes, you have to have so many different judges, but it just almost felt like at some points, like the judges weren't even at the rules meeting. I'll be honest. Like they were just not the same page as far as communication and stuff like that. But I never fault the athlete for taking a call. We've
Yeah.
talked about it so many times. Everyone, one way or another, if you compete in strongman long enough, you're gonna get screwed on some calls and you're gonna get some great calls in your favor. So shit happens, man. I'm sure the judges were trying their best.
mhm.
Pressing's hard as hell to judge, and especially when you got 4 different weird implements. You got a
Yep.
normal barbell, and then everything else is kind of hard to judge. But overall, I thought the equipment for the press medley was super cool.
Yeah, it held up great. It looked cool.
And I almost did think the weights were almost like perfect because you weren't having a lot of people. Maybe the yoke was too,
A little too aggressive, yeah, probably a little too
yeah.
heavy, but
But
overall,
yeah. And then so that was event 1, and then we went to the frame carry and the dinny carry, which was a couple change. Every single class, their weight dropped on the frame.
yeah.
I think some were substantial. Mine was 60 pounds.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah. Wasn't it?
I don't know exactly.
I think it was 60.
Yeah, I think it went from 650 to 590 for
Yeah.
you,
Oh
which is
yeah, that you did say
yeah,
590. Yeah.
Yeah. So the frame, the grip didn't, I mean, this is coming from someone that dropped it with like 5 feet left, but the grip didn't feel much different to me than any frame I've ever really used.
Oh yeah,
Some people, that just might be because our bridge frame is a little goofy.
yeah.
But Those frames were beautiful. I think the width of them really screwed a lot of people up. Being, I believe it was a 32-inch width frame.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
pretty
is
wide.
so wide. I mean, ours is 24. So, a pretty substantial difference. Theirs were 32, and you could actually elect to have it wider at 36, I think. 34, 36.
I don't know why you'd want it wider.
Yeah, I don't know either, but and then they were really cool because you could adjust the frame from 14 to 20 inches. So,
Pick height.
yeah, the pick height. Everyone that was tall enough, did 20 inches,
Of course.
but no, I thought the frames were really cool. The other change was the Denny's had unlimited drops versus just one drop. That was, what's his name, Frawley? The dude from World's Strongest Man, your boy, Darren.
Oh, Darren Sadler. Yeah,
Darren
he's the
Sadler.
owner. He's the owner of Giants Live.
Oh, Darren Sadler. Okay,
Yeah.
so I believe he was the one that actually made the final call to change Denny's to
Unlimited drops.
yeah, unlimited drops. But definitely ended up benefiting me. I think it made sense to change it. I didn't really understand that. I think they probably should have just had it like that from the beginning. But
Sure.
what did you guys think of that event? Watching it,
I don't like watching people walk with Denny Stones.
Denny Stones has to go. That is such
I don't, I mean, I might be being negative, Mr. Negative guy, but I don't like that.
no.
I'm
I
not
mean, I will
interested in
say,
watching it.
I will say, like the Sticks and Stones guys did an amazing job, like
Yeah, like
making all the equipment. I
yes,
just
the
think it's
implements look
I
cool.
just think it's such a stupid event.
That's yeah. And I would have rather watched people go down and back with the frame.
Yeah.
I agree.
Personally,
Or like a
I
frame,
would.
or like a frame to a yoke or something.
I mean, I get it. I understand. Like it was different. It's tough.
Yeah.
It is tough. I mean, it was very tough. But it didn't do it for me. I didn't like it.
Listen, in my
Yeah,
opinion, you want asses in seats. You got to put events that people actually want to watch.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that had any hindrance on the actual attendance.
No, that's not,
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not saying that at all.
No, I know.
I'm just
I
saying in
just
general.
every single year there's a theme in Strongman, and it really looks like this next year is going to be Denny Stones, and I'm like, God,
I ain't signing up for any of them.
they're at the Arnold already.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the Arnold? Did we announce the Arnold events already?
We talked
Not
about it
yet.
a little. We talked about it a little bit, but nothing.
We'll
too
talk
in
about them
deep
after
detail.
OSG. But no, that was that. That was that. I like the event. I don't enjoy Denny Stone carries. I just don't enjoy them. Probably hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, sorry.
But that was day one. Came back, deadlift ladder, day two, deadlift ladder, and the Go Ruck challenge. Deadlift ladder was fun. I had a good split time on 3 bars.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel that overwhelming kabuki whip that everyone talks about. It felt like a normal deadlift bar to me. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they were nice bars, very nice bars.
What I liked about one thing I noticed through the entirety of the show, and what I really noticed, what made me realize it was the deadlift ladder, was the disparity in the events from the bottom to top. It was even the whole way through. You had some people that finished with 1 bar, you had some people finish with 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars finish,
I
right?
thought
And it was only a few the whole way through.
Yep.
And that, I feel like that's how the world championship level should be, right? Like
Agree.
you have some people that can do it, some people that can't do it. And it was
I
a
thought
true
Lynn
test
did
of
such an
separation.
amazing job picking
You know what I
those
mean?
weights. Yep.
Yeah, and I really
couldn't agree
noticed
more.
it in the deadlift ladder.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're
So
100% right. There was, if you were at the 3rd bar, you did pretty good on that. I got 8th and I got a good split time. I think I got the 2nd fastest split time through 3 bars.
right.
It's funny.
And
That
that's
was
a
my
little different than like the amateur national level, right? Like if you're doing well on an event, you're finishing the event.
You're right.
So it's a little different.
Yeah. I think it's cool to have it really heavy and only have a couple guys finish it.
Sure.
Because I also enjoyed that they took split times on everything, because it rewards the people that take the risk, like, and don't use straps and don't take their, and like kind of take some risk for the split times as well.
Sure.
Like, they can get through stuff faster. I just think when you get to that level, if you wouldn't have taken split times, there would have been so many split points throughout the weekend.
Oh yeah, you have
It just
to.
wouldn't have even been
It's
possible.
part of the event.
Right.
You have to.
No, but that event was cool. I thought that I was stunned how fast that event went. They were
Yeah.
cooking day 2 to start that event. But no, I mean, not much to say about it. It was a deadlift ladder. The bars were very nice, adequate warm up. Just a cool event, in my opinion.
I will say too,
Um,
helping you in that tunnel, like going through that tunnel, it's like a surreal experience. And I wasn't even a
yeah,
competitor.
Dante. Yeah, I mean, you can talk about it a little bit, but like you
No,
go
you
in the
got to
warm up
talk to. You're
room.
the competitor.
No, I mean you are in the warm up room, and then they had like a tunnel. They like your class would wait to go out next, and it was really really cool. It was like
It's like you're like a
it was like you're
boxer
getting
getting ready to go out.
yeah, like you're getting ready to get called in the arena. You got like kind of you know your adrenaline's going, so that was really cool for an athlete. Like it wasn't just like you're kind of just standing around a random curtain in a you know just a normal show and just waiting to kind of make sure you didn't miss your name getting called or anything like that. It was really cool, the logistics behind the scenes there. Um, but yeah, Dante saw that and he was like wants to compete at OSG right after right after going through
I
that.
just want to
It
walk
was
down
cool.
the. I just want my name called and walk out of that tunnel. That's all I want.
Yeah, it was cool.
It
The
was alright.
last event, I will say, showed so many poor sports, so many babies, so many losers, so many crybabies. It was unbelievable. Like I personally thought the Go Ruck Survival Challenge was a really cool medley. I thought it was creative. Like I thought props to Lynn for first off getting a new sponsor involved in Strongman. That's a big company. Go Ruck is a huge company, and they want to get involved in Strongman. That's awesome. That's what we need, right? More and like, how can we involve them? Yeah, sure. You could have just done their Husaville and the med ball, but like the backpack was a really, really cool twist. So if you don't know, you know, the event, we were wearing a weighted backpack. And I thought it was a really nice one because it was super tight, didn't clink around. Um, they had it perfectly staged for you to get fitted for it before you went. So I wore a 75-pound backpack. They had a heavy medicine ball and a heavy Husafel sandbag, and you put in a sled and then you drug it backwards. The amount of people that obviously the ones that didn't do well on it, right? You know, said it's CrossFit or it's the dumbest event ever. Hey man, it was publicized for like 16 plus weeks. Everyone knew what the event was going to be. Literally, that was the one event that was one of the only events that did not change once. So you got exactly what you signed up for.
Hmm.
You knew exactly what it was. The weights didn't change. I thought it was a really fun medley. I'll
I
be
don't.
honest.
I
Like,
don't get how they're calling it CrossFit if it's rucking. Like there's. I'm
but it's not.
just saying if you're gonna poke fun at something, make sure it's right.
But it's not even. Yeah. I mean, that's true. But it's not even like a CrossFit workout. Like, if you think that I finished in 40 something seconds, right?
Yeah.
No CrossFit workout takes 40 something seconds.
Mm-mm.
Like it was just a medley basically that they've done at OSG before,
Just added a
different
backpack.
implements, but like very similar with a backpack on. It was I thought it was cool. I mean, whether or not you thought it was cool, when you're making an excuse for it and it was an event, like I understand if we went to OSG and it was supposed to be a medley, and then the day of Lynn's like, hey, put on this 75-pound backpack. Okay, that would be a little different. That'd be like, okay, what the fuck? You know, we've never done this. This was publicized for months and months and months. So that's how I feel about that event. I think people are crybabies. So
I say he brings it back.
yeah, make it a staple every year.
Yeah. I'll
No,
keep.
I mean, I like that he switches events. And I like that he tries to get creative. Who else has a car yoke, you know? Like he has a
Mhm.
car yoke every he's had it every year before this for the most part, you
Yep.
know? It just shows creativity. And whether you like the event or not, like I said, I mean, it was publicized. So that was it was just funny this last week seeing how many people cried about it and complained about that event specifically.
Mhm.
So, hey, whatever. Um And then did you guys Dante, you were there for the finals.
Yeah.
I
watched
watched finals.
I watched the finals on the way home.
Yep.
Super easy events to get through fast.
Yeah.
You know,
And they're
sandbag
very
toss,
entertaining events.
very,
Very entertaining events.
Yeah. Man,
Especially at a high level.
I was so impressed with people's performances in the finals. Like just across the board, I was like, because I was pretty close to making the finals. I was 3 spots off. So I'm naturally watching my class,
Sure.
being like, how would I have done? Man, some of those guys just hats off to
What
their
was your final stone?
350.
It's pretty heavy
Yeah.
for
I
an
think
80 kilo.
I think my class was 225, 250, 275, 300, 325, 350.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
I think it's because I think it's 6 stones, right?
Yep. It was
Mhm.
6 stones.
I
Yeah.
think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And then, man, the sandbag toss, like there was some performances, man.
I
Like,
love watching the sandbag toss.
yeah, it's
It's such an
such a
entertaining
fun
event.
event.
Yep. Especially
Yeah, I
when
want to
somebody
get to.
gets like a perfect run.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
know, it's awesome
mean-
to watch.
I mean, Derek Owens completely, whether you agree with it or not, completely stole day 3. Like
17 seconds.
Again,
Oh, he won both events. Yeah.
he won both events. He got the 11th spot in and then podiumed. And whether
Yeah.
you agree with it or not, I will never go with Derek because you do not blame an athlete for taking an opportunity that they're given.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
not his fault. I mean, he's taking advantage of the opportunity.
And man,
He won both events.
He took
Yeah.
advantage of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to say anything when he came out and he had the fastest sandbag run and won the stones.
Mhm.
Like, that's hard to be like, hey, he doesn't belong here. You know what I mean? Like, kind of. So I guess what happened is, if you're following the drama, there was a miscalculation with the U73 women's class.
That's my understanding. Yeah.
And so instead of a girl that thought she got in, but because of the scoring error wouldn't have got in, they just let the 10th and 11th in. Because it was day 3 when they found it out. So the girl already had, was into the finals. So yeah, so I guess Derek tied for 10th, but lost on the tiebreaker. But since the other class was let in, they let him in. And he
took
seized the
advantage of
moment, man. He seized it.
Yeah, they
But,
said like 5 minutes before the event, like his wife or whoever was running up to the hospital booth, like, we need a shirt right now, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah. He was in jeans and cowboy
And
boots. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I don't fault him for it at all.
he found out 5 minutes before. But no, you're 100% right, for like those events are like awesome finals.
They're awesome to watch.
Trying to think, I was just trying to think of a couple performances, but like Rebecca Roberts won World's Strongest Woman.
Yep.
My 105 brothers, Alex Sukup, getting all.
Yeah,
He was the first one to get all the stones with a blown
Torn
oblique.
yeah. I mean,
And-
there was just
yeah.
so many. One performance I didn't talk about in the deadlift, but it was, I don't know if you guys caught it, but Richard Panganabon, he's in my class. He won 2021 OSG.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He tore his bicep on the 710 mammoth bar and still finished the pull.
Wow.
Oh,
Like a
that's how he
fucking
got hurt.
freak. Yeah,
I saw
That's
him in a
raunchy.
sling. I didn't know what happened.
dude. Like how, like I was talking to him after, and what that's just a warrior move right there. Like to finish the pull and get the pull. I think he was one of only 2 guys that finished that in my class,
Wow.
if not the only one.
I think Ben Donen got it too.
Donen. He lost. I think Panganabon lost by half a second, and he tore his bicep.
That's crazy.
And it's like, man, and I'll say, like, after he found out he tore, like, he had such a good attitude and was like, man,
Sure.
it's the nature of the beast. But just to finish a pool like that is just so incredible. And like,
Yeah.
to see performance, there was just performances like that I'm sure I'm missing. But like,
The one that
props to
sticks
everyone.
out to me as super heavyweight is Marcus Crowder finally got the W.
Dude,
He always seemed to be just a little tiny bit short on one event here, one event there. And it was nice to see him come through with the win.
man, did he steal the show? Like,
Yeah.
because
He's incredible.
I don't follow super heavyweight as much as
Right.
as you do, Frawley. I mean, obviously, naturally, you follow your class the closest, but
Right.
some absolutely incredible performance,
Yeah.
and Crowder just seemed like he was just at the top of every single one.
Yeah, and
Like,
Derwinski getting on the podium is awesome too. He's a guy that's always been right on the fringe, right? He's just a little bit out, and he put it together. And I actually think he won the stone event, if I remember
I
right.
think so. Yeah, he did.
Him and Crowder getting the stones both lapped at the same time, and then Derwinski actually loaded it, and Crowder missed, so he won that event. But Crowder still came out with the outright win of the entire event. But that was awesome watching them go head to head because they were flying through the stones. It was
Right.
awesome.
Yeah, there was a Masters woman that did 40 and 50 plus
Oh wow, okay,
and did well. I think she made the finals in both. Am I right
wow,
about that?
I have
wow,
no idea.
But I know she at least made the finals for the 50 plus. But
that's awesome.
so she did 12 events. I'm
Sure.
pretty sure. So yeah, incredible. You could talk all day about just individuals, but hope everyone that did OSG is proud of their performance. Put it in perspective, it's like the 1% of the 1% of the sport that'll get there every year. So be proud that you got there, and no matter how you
Absolutely.
did. So yeah, it's also always, we say it after every show we go to, but it's always fun to meet people that we've talked to online.
Yep.
Dante and I were sitting there after day 2, and someone came up to us and told us how much they enjoyed the podcast.
Thank you for listening.
So I can't even remember. Wasn't
that Tyler Thompson or something?
Where was he from? Michigan. So yeah, came up to us from Michigan. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. Like, every time someone comes up and says something, that's so cool. Forget that people listen to this.
Yeah.
So, but no, I don't have anything else. Oh, the one other thing that they did at OSU that I thought was really cool this year, and I don't know if people at home watching saw it, but whoever was in the lead for each class got a gold shirt, and that's
Great idea.
It's what the CrossFit Games does. There's like a leader,
Yep.
and they get a different colored shirt, and it is such a cool idea, and I'm so happy they implemented it.
You know who you're chasing.
Yeah, right. So
yeah,
no, that's just another cool little like detail,
Yep.
So,
good idea.
I wish ticket price was lower, because I just don't think you're gonna pack an arena, especially with locals, for that pricing for tickets.
Yeah.
That is way above my pay grade. I have no idea the what behind the scenes for that. I'm just saying from my point of view, tickets are way too expensive.
Yep.
And like I said, that's not me being negative. I think you have to point out stuff for constructive criticism to continue to get better. So
right.
I don't know. I thought it was way too. Someone told me it was $75 to get in for one day.
Yeah, if that's true, that's too much money.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to Heinz Field. Like, I'm sorry, but
yeah,
I don't know. But
I don't know, it might not even be $75 anymore. Did you watch that game last night?
Oh,
anyway, don't want to get on that topic.
Yeah. But anything else that's that jumped out at you guys from the live stream? Was super good quality. It seemed to cut a lot.
So much. It cut so much. It drove me nuts. I don't know if that was like there was an issue there. It seemed to be when they went from camera to camera too, is when I noticed it a lot. When they transitioned from like an athlete shot to like a high angle. That was when I noticed it the most, but man, I had to refresh it so many times. Drove me crazy.
My 635, no one got to watch on the stream because it goes from 585, and then I'm at the 675 getting buried. So
did the same thing with Jerry too.
Really?
Yep.
Well, good thing we have all footage from my cameras.
Yeah. So. But if you go back on official Strongman Games and watch, it's pretty clear.
Okay.
So it does still cut a little bit, but
the resolution and the clarity and all that, I didn't have any issues with. It just, for whatever reason, it would just break up.
But,
it's probably like bandwidth or something.
I would say the only other thing that I noticed was where the booths were located. Like they just kind of got. I didn't even. Yeah, like I don't know the solution. I'm not the guy, but there's somehow got to put them out there so people see them, because a lot of people, like I helped with the Hossware booth a little bit on Friday. a lot of people were coming to the booth asking like where the rest of them were, or
Mhm.
like, where's this at? And we're like, oh, it's back there, and they didn't even realize there was people back there. So that's that's a feedback too that I would say,
For sure.
I
but
thought, yeah, I
I
thought there was plenty of space to put every other booth. There's only like what 5 booths back there, 6 maybe.
yeah, and I was thinking like you could probably even put them out in the lobby. Like when you came up the stairs in the lobby, there was a
Yeah,
pretty big area out there. Now you kind of want them like in the area with the event, but I don't know the answer. Like I said, I'm not the guy. I don't do the planning, logistics, whatever. But that was something I felt like could be improved. So,
Yeah, no, for sure.
but
And enforcing VIP. I saw some people complaining about the VIP stuff because you pay extra for tickets and then they don't enforce it.
yeah,
That's just something to learn
yeah,
from too.
$300 for a
yeah,
VIP, and then people can literally just buy normal tickets and sit down right in your VIP seat.
Right. Um,
Great show though.
so no, it was great. It was
there
great.
was
Uh,
best show I've ever seen.
if I was being this nitpicky about like local and other comps, we could talk all day about issues. Like,
Yeah,
Listen,
you know what I
listen. I
mean?
mean, like it's all constructive criticism. We care. That's why we talk about it because we want it to get better.
For
And
sure.
if no one says anything about the issues, it will never get better.
For
right.
sure. Um, the Arnold amateur events are out. I'll go over them real quickly and then just comment what you think of the events if you're going. And we'll kind of talk about it at a later date, but it's a Trump squat, so heavier and lighter option. Anything beats the and it's from an Anderson, so bottom up squat. I like
Mhm.
Yep.
that. Sandbag toss event. I think it's I think it's cool. I don't know how they're gonna run it efficiently because it seems like a logistic nightmare, but I'm sure they'll have it figured out. Um a press medley with 6 implements, like a sandbag, barbell chains, log,
Axle, keg, circus
axle,
dumbbell.
kegs. Yeah, circus. And then what's the other prelim, Dante?
It's just this 4. Oh, like the sandbag,
Oh,
sled drag.
yeah, sandbag load over a yoke and then sled drag backwards. And then the finals, Denny Stone walk, max Hummer tire deadlift, and
There's a mystery.
a mystery event. Yep. So
I like
no,
that.
no, I do too.
We'll find out
I
February
like the
17th.
mystery.
Yep. The
Mystery's cool.
sandbag event is the toss is super perplexing to me because there's a lot of athletes and each athlete requires 3 of their own throwing heights.
I think they'll probably just run like a couple at a time, I would think.
That's going to be hard to run even more than 2 people at a time.
Yeah, I would think that it would only be
'Cause it-
2.
Yeah, because if you, I mean, that's 6 throw bag apparatuses for 2
Yep.
people.
Yep.
So, no.
It's interesting new concept, right? It's kind of like a ladder, right? Like
Yeah,
cool concept. I'm interested to see how it goes. That's how I'll
yeah,
put
for
it.
sure. For sure.
Because there's 3 different heights, right?
Yeah. Yep. 3 different heights for each class, and you throw the same bag over each one, and then you go back and throw a heavier bag over it again if you can. So,
Yep.
yeah, those are the Arnold events. I mean, I'm not going to go super in depth because it's 3 months away, but just putting them out there. Let us know what you think of them. Let us know what you thought of OSG. We're 24, 25 subscribers away from the giveaway that we've been talking about for 10 years.
I
So
mean,
make sure
one of you
you,
guys could have got a free entry to OSG this year if you
it's
guys just
true. One
subscribed.
of you guys could get a free entry to the Arnold.
Yeah, never know.
So yeah, just go hit 5A Strongman giveaway on our page. It's like a 2-minute video. Go watch it. It's super easy.
Subscribe,
Get
comment.
qualified.
Yeah, it's could not be easier to get entered for this big of a giveaway. I don't think anyone does giveaways this big for athletes. So, but yeah, make sure you get entered in that. And we will talk to you guys for episode 157.
Peace.
Later.